morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this beautiful blue, green, shapely world of ours. Welcome to Real News Live. It is a Toxically Masculine Tuesday. I'm Mike Bara, your host in Las Vegas, about to join today, as I always am, on the awesome Tuesday night news and commentary show. But the man who you cannot spend 4 hours in a car with without coming out of it smarter, Dr. Brooks Agnew, somewhere in the Carolinas. Brooks, how you doing? How's the weather? What are you drinking?
I'm doing great. The weather is a little chilly. It's going to turn really cold tonight, but the house is super well insulated. So I'm in my Tuesday night attire and I'm drinking Perrier.
I wish I had some Perrier or Pellegrino, so I'd rather be drinking tonight. And of course, the man directly beneath me on the screen, but not in any other way, the owner of the most popular strip club in Nashville, Tennessee, the Lickety Split, Cub reporter, Gonzo journalist, epic Bob Marley fan, drinks a lot of rum. TV's Blake Wally. Blake, how you doing? How's your week been? And what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
Hey, doing well. Great to be here. I am going to be drinking some Larceny whiskey. I'm in the karaoke lounge, getting ready for the strip club to open up later tonight.
Yep, it's a karaoke lounge, and then at about 11 o'clock, it becomes a nice girly bar, and the kind of place that Jack Ruby would have wanted to have. And of course, the last member of the group, not last in any way, shape, or form, the most awesome, toxically masculine member of the team, an American patriot, Marine Special Forces?
Yeah.
Marine Special Forces, absolute patriot, former second in command in security at Los Alamos National Laboratory, the subject of a 48 hours profile on CBS News, frequent guest on the O'Reilly Factor, chief of police, cop, all-time ass kicker, living in nowhere Fuckville, Arkansas. Now, Steve Doran, the trail boss. Steve, you know what, Steve? You are the only person I know that can rock a cowboy hat without looking gay, and no homo.
Well, that's a good deal.
Seriously. All right. Welcome.
You have to, if you're going to rock a cowboy hat, you can't buy it off the shelf. You have to have them custom made.
Yeah, well, that makes sense to me. You have to have it custom, like they trim it and everything, right?
Well, what it is, I mean, really, you know why people look goofy in cowboy hats? Because the brim doesn't match their frame. So it's either too small or it's too big. So if you have a custom maker make you one, they make it to match your face and your frame.
The exacting standards of your head.
Yes, and I'm going to give her a Holly hat maker. She's out of Texas now. She used to be in Arizona when she made all my hats for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She is like the best hat maker in the world, and she's only about $50 more than buying a hat off the shelf.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
hat maker if you need a good cowboy hat.
That'd be like getting a custom-made, suit for going.
All my holsters are custom made. I mean,
and it's only $50 more. Yeah, that would be
if you're gonna carry a gun, you need a custom holster. If you're gonna wear a hat, you need a custom hat.
I don't carry my gun in a holster. I just carry it in my pocket.
Well, yeah, but you just got a small one, right?
Well, all right. A couple of things I wanted to mention before we get started. I would like to comment on the passing of the late, great Eric Von Daniken. He was 90 years old. Apparently, he passed away on Saturday. I've talked about it on my other shows. But he was an explorer, a man of great curiosity. He came from Switzerland. He wrote the mega best-selling book, Chariots of the Gods. He was the first one to ask, did somebody besides the Egyptians build the pyramids? And those sorts of mysteries. He got mercilessly attacked by dickbags like Carl Sagan, rest in hell, Carl. I hope it's not too hot down there for you, Carl. And people like that over the years, but he held up, he stood fast. And in the end, I think he's been proven, he's been vindicated on so many levels, we can't even go there. I met the man many times at conferences and shared a lot of wine with him. He used to drink 3 bottles of wine a night, 3 bottles of red wine a night. Wonderful man, never stoned, never drunk, always just drinking that wine. Had some incredible stories, which have been recorded and will always be there in history. So, here's to you, Eric, for 90 amazing years on the planet. Very few people, the author of Chariots of the Gods, In Search of Ancient Astronauts, a classical film from the 70s, narrated by none other than Rod Serling, another epic stellar star in his own right. You won, man. You will leave a legacy that will last far beyond your time on this earth. Cheers to you, Eric.
I need to pull up I used to do a radio show, and he was one of my guests.
Oh, you're kidding?
No.
Wow.
Oh crap, he died too. Stanton Friedman.
Stanton Friedman.
He was a regular guest of mine.
He was an awesome guy. Stan, I met many times at conferences. The last time was at the Alien Snowfest in 2019. That was in January. I believe he passed away in May that year. And I did about a 15 or 20-minute interview with him. And it was kind of pretty much his last straight up interview. I've got to get that on the YouTube channel and stuff. And he was also a guy, but it was a guy that was really solid. I think he was in his late 80s at that time. He was still all there, but I got the feeling he was done. He was, I remember thinking that. I don't think he's willing. He doesn't want to hang around too much more. So
he died in the airport.
Yeah, going to a conference.
Going to a conference. He died doing what he loves doing.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. May we all do that, because me dying is going to be pretty freaking spectacular. One other little thing now that it's out, they just put it out. I'm going to be a guest on the new podcast, the Y-Files podcast, over on the Y-Files channel. It's going to be called The Basement. They just put it out on Instagram that I was there yesterday for an interview. I sat with AJ for 5 or 6 hours. I believe this will be the first of many visits down to the Y-Files studios, and it was absolutely an incredible discussion. And when that comes out, they can't possibly put the whole thing on there, but when it comes out, I think it's going to be a terrific interview, and best interview I've ever sat with. Him and Steve Mara, by the way. I love you, Steve. And look for that. Look for that in the next few weeks. They got a lot of editing to do, because me and AJ had a long, long talk. All right. It's great to be here with you guys. The issue is always, where to start, and you kind of want to start with the current stuff. But what I think is, let's just start with last Saturday night, where we had a situation. We had an I fought the law and the law won situation, where a leftist, libtard, crazy, converted lesbian something paid protester, who had been trained by people like George Soros, who had backed training classes, got into an incident with ICE agents trying to perform their duty according to the law in Minneapolis. Of course, Minneapolis is a cesspool of corruption right now. There's rumors that Tim Walz is not going to make it out of the rest of this week. He's going to be forced to resign because of his involvement in the Somali daycare fraud, various other kinds of frauds, all kinds of things that have been covered up. So they started agitating against ICE in order to create an incident which the Democrats are so pathetic and desperate thought would turn the American people against ICE and against deportations and against the investigations. But that is not actually what happened. What happened is something very different. And because we have Steve Doran, the trail boss, frequent guest on the O'Reilly Factor, Marine Special Forces, chief of police, cop, street cop, detective, brilliant dude. I want to play the body cam video, Steve, and I assume you've seen it, but I do want to play it again. And I want to get, first of all, your comments on this incident, because this is, yeah. Well, let's want to get your comments. This is not exactly body cam. The officer in question was holding his phone up as the incident happened. It's about a minute long.
We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us.
This
later.
is the
That's fine.
wife.
U.S. citizen, former.
The lesbian girlfriend. Call it what it is.
Lesbian girlfriend, yeah.
I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car.
She's blocking. Called her a fucking bitch. So that's it. Watch one more time.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Whoa!
Okay, that is the incident in its entirety. Here is another view of the incident. The cop comes up to the door, she accelerates into the other ICE agent, fires a couple of times. Okay, one more, and this is the last angle taken from across the street. So let's watch this one. You can see the force that she accelerates into him with. Okay, the vehicle in question is a 4,700-pound Honda, I believe. And you can see the speed. You can see the footage. Steve, I got to ask you straight up, want the honest to God truth. Did those guys do anything wrong?
Nothing. I mean, a vehicle is more of a deadly weapon than a handgun. So if you've got somebody, using their vehicle as a weapon, you have more than every right to defend yourself in whatever way you possibly can. And you saw the force that he was hit with, and he didn't draw his gun. You notice the guns weren't drawn until he was hit. I would have had my gun out way before I got hit, if humanly possible. Secondly, they're touting this woman as, this mother of three and blah, blah, blah bullshit. The reality is she's got a criminal record. She makes her living agitating, and she just thought that she was above the law and she could get away with whatever she wanted to. In fact, 2 of her children were taken away from her. She never, for her to be allowed to see them again, because I haven't confirmed this, but there are several reports, because she allowed the lesbian girlfriend there to abuse them. So, this is just some psycho woman who decided she wanted to either kill or seriously injure a federal agent, and she paid the ultimate price for it. It's like, you don't want to get shot, don't use your car as a weapon, don't screw with people who are in the process of doing their job.
Yeah, they were there. ICE was on an operation to arrest some more criminals, illegal aliens. These people interfered. They blocked the road. She had been blocking the road for some time. I do believe, Steve, that the child abuse incidents, and we're talking physical abuse, not necessarily sexual abuse as far as we know, by the lesbian girlfriend did not involve her time with this woman, Renee Good. But,
It was a different one?
Separate incident. But that woman who became, her husband dumped her. She lost her kids, which if you lose your kids in this court system and you're a woman, you're doing some bad shit. She moved. She was, up there in Minnesota causing trouble and tried to run the guy over. And I mean, you look at that last video and the force with which she hits him. Mm-hmm. You're asking for it, Brooks. Do you think she was asking for it? And is it that these people are so radicalized by libtard media insanity that they do this and they think they can get away with it? Or are they just put up to this by people like Tim Waltz, who incite this sort of violence to distract for political purposes?
Yeah, they're put up to it. I have a friend who's not paid, was going to go march in the demonstration, and he's a Christian guy. And I said, so let me get this straight. You're going to go march for pedophilia. You're going to go march for lesbianism. You're going to go march for open borders and daycare fraud. And he said, well, the daycare fraud never happened. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, that's all made up by the MAGA just to have a talking point. I said, so they didn't steal $9 billion. And I think that's probably light. It's going to be somewhere north of $40 billion by the time it's all done. And they're sending the money to Somalia, and a lot of that's being cut and ended up in the hands of al-Shabaab. They've traced the money. So I said, I wouldn't do it if I were you. I wouldn't go out and protest, because your picture is going to be taken and you're going to be on a list. And if you get arrested, it's $5,000 fine. And then you're a convicted felon. Go try to find a job as a convicted felon.
Yeah. Okay, so explain to people what al-Shabaab is.
Well, al-Shabaab is a terrorist organization in North Africa, and it kidnaps and mutilates young women. And by young, I mean teenage women. They go in and take over Christian schools, kill all the guys, and take the girls and go rape them in the fields. That's what al-Shabaab does.
Well, and the goats probably. All right, Blake. My thought to you is spinning a little bit to the political side of this. A woman is dead. I'm going to be blunt. I don't give a shit. She would be alive if she didn't try to run down a federal officer trying to perform his duty. And when you see the speed on that last video, and if you'd like me to repeat it, I can repeat it, how hard she hits him. He's very lucky he doesn't have broken bones. She gassed it. And the other part is that her wife, lesbian girlfriend, in the video, you can hear her say, drive, baby, drive. She told her to drive into the guy, even though he was right in front of her, blocking her way. This is all agitated. This is all promoted. What I think is this, and this is my theory, and I'd like you to comment on it, and then I want to hear any thoughts you might have other than that. This is the Democrats doing deliberately, because they were getting slaughtered last week on Maduro in Venezuela. Whoa, we take out Maduro. Let's see if we can get everybody all fired up about Venezuela. That fell flat. Trump's poll numbers went up. That's not working. What are we going to do now? We got to agitate ICE. Let's turn them into the bad guys again. Let's create an incident. I believe this is all orchestrated. And I don't mean that specific incident is orchestrated. I mean, let's see if we can find some dumb bitch to go out there and try to run down an ICE officer and see. And then we can talk about how, oh, she was a sweet woman and all this crap. That's what I think is going on. And here's the thing that bothers me about that I would like your comment on before you go off and do what Blake Wally thinks. Maybe we can put this at the end. Maybe I'll ask it afterwards. Go ahead and do your thing. Give your, say your piece, and then we'll ask about the future next.
Well, I mean, it's a tragedy she died, but yes, it was 100% preventable. There's no excuse for it, especially when we saw all the video. They tried to frame it as though she was just some innocent woman who didn't know, just kind of walked into traffic and just stopped. But then we saw the full context and realized, yeah, she was there purely as an agitator. So it's sad she died, but she was being a bitch about it. It was intentionally there to obstruct the proceedings. Mm-hmm. And she was basically begging for an incident and for trouble. And they don't seem to realize how serious of a situation this is. And it's all for what? She's trying to protect criminal illegal aliens that aren't supposed to be here. None of it makes any sense. So they need to look at this money and where it's going, these NGOs, or whether it's going to paid provocateurs. She could be looking for money. She was out of state there in a weird situation. So maybe she's capitalizing on it too. And it's partly, the media throwing fuel on the fire, and these criminal fraudsters that have hijacked the government in Minnesota, and they want to get the pressure off of them, because now they're in the national spotlight. Everyone's looking at it. So now they got a distraction. But now that we see the full context, it's hard to feel sorry for her.
You and I are both former residents of Minnesota, and they used to say Minnesota nice, about the people there. I don't think we're going to say that anymore. And what I see is the walls are closing in on Tim Walz. Again, we talked about last week. Why did Kamala Harris pick this idiot? And the answer
he
is
had access to dark money trove, just like
as I
Biden.
told you last week, because he had access to all this money that was being stolen from the American taxpayers to finance a campaign that had no prayer of beating Donald Trump in 2024. And now what's happening is they've caught up to the fraud. The guy is surrounded. It's like he's surrounded by the Apaches and they're coming in after him and he's got nowhere to go. So now what he had to do was create create a situation where there is some other distraction where you feel like you can't send in the National Guard or send in the feds, the FBI to arrest Tim Walz. I don't think that's going to help, but here's the part of it that I think it bodes is frightening for the future. In the last month, they've tried to complain about ICE. Didn't stick. Voters didn't give a shit. Voters are in favor of it. Maduro, this is illegal. Voters didn't give a shit. Voters don't care. They go pivot back to ICE. Voters don't give a shit. Voters don't care. Trump's corrupt. Trump's not corrupt. Epstein files. People care, but not enough that it's going to change anything. The Democrats continue to poll at 20%. They're throwing everything on the wall to see if anything sticks. Nothing is sticking. What I'm worried about in this country, Steve, is what happens when we get to April or May or June and nothing has stuck and Trump gets more popular and the economy gets better. Inflation is under 3%, 2.7%. Remember when all those Democrat experts told you, tariffs aren't going to work. They're going to pass that along to the consumer. Prices are going to go up. Prices are going down, folks. Gas is going down. Exactly the opposite is happening. Trump has this week talked about getting rid of the income tax, which is doable with tariffs, getting credit card interest rates, cutting that from 25 or 30% to 10%. What's going to happen to those banks that are depending on that extra 15 or 20% they're not getting anymore when he imposes that one, which I believe he can do on executive order for 1 year? Things are going to get shitty for the Democratic money machine. The voters are not going to follow with them. And then the only thing left to them, I believe, Steve, is further escalation, which is going to bring us back to posse comitatus and the things we argued about last week. But what do you think happens when the Democrats realize they're going to get absolutely slaughtered like Custer at
Wounded Knee
in the midterm elections? What do you see happening then?
Well, I mean, you're going to see a lot more civil disobedience. They're going to, try to provoke the federal government. They're going to try to provoke the red states and, the Trump voters. But the reality is there's not that many of them. I mean, when you show, like when they had the protesters against ICE in Chicago, only 300 or 400 people showed up. The rank and file U.S. citizen is not going to put up with their nonsense. I mean, there are certain, they bus them in. There are certain areas where, they give a pretty good show of force, but nationally, they're not a threat. I mean, I was watching a video. It was like this guy, I would send him some money to help his legal case. This little guy, probably 5'8", kicked the crap out of about 8 of them that were attacking him. I mean, he knocked them out, not just knocked them away, like knocked these people out. And the reality is, people are just getting sick of them. They're really, like I said, physically, whatever, they're no threat. They're all mouth. They're all talk. And you're going to see more and more rank and file American citizens who are just going to pound the shit out of them. And they're either going to stop and go away, or they're going to, be subjected to some major abuse.
Sorry. Yeah. And they're blowing a blowhorn into his face. This simp is.
He did a lot better than I did. He was a lot more calm than I would have been.
Well, and so this is what happens here. And it's one American against 4, 5, 6 communists here, right?
Well, more than that. I mean, he ends up beating up four or five or six.
Bam! Down goes Frazier.
But all
Down
all
goes
those
Frazier.
people you see are him.
Down goes Frazier. Sorry. Boom! 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 Ali now with the combinations. Boom! Uppercut. Come on, this is great. This is great. That guy just got knocked over. Oh, I'm badass. Oh, boom! Down goes Frazier.
Here comes the next one.
Boom! Oh!
But you're going to see more and more of that starting to happen because people are just tired.
Sorry.
They're all mouth. They're no action. You know, and I love, like, you know, when they, like, as an example, they post the pictures of Renee Good and she's got long hair and blah, blah, blah. I mean, she's just a fat, disgusting piece of filth.
Yep. And it's
you know, and they post the pictures of her when she's like 21 or whatever. And she's so ugly then.
Yeah. And the meme is, you know, Tinder photograph. And then when she shows up for the date, like, so.
And she's just a big old fat pig.
Yeah. And if you don't know what the Down Goes Frazier reference is, look up Howard Cosell, Jamaica Foreman, and Joe Frazier.
But I mean, people are getting sick of them, and there's not enough of them to really do anything. So if you see any major catastrophes go down, it's going to be because they were aided by professionals, you know, Al Qaeda, those types of people,
right,
in order to make those things happen. But I mean, as far as, I mean, even there, you know, how many protesters were there? I mean, he kicked like the crap out of like 6 of them.
Yeah.
And how many protesters were actually there? Like 10, 12?
20, 15, 20, maybe 10,
I mean,
15.
max. But they act like, you know, they show the camera views like there's thousands of people. And then you get people like Blake Wally who go out, you know, the Gonzo reporters, and they step back and take a photograph and show that instead of thousands of people, there's just a couple hundred, if that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Brooks, I agree with Steve. I have always said, or I've been saying since 2017, the actual progressive lobby in this country is 20% of the population at the most. 70% of the country is MAGA or moderate MAGA, which I believe if it wasn't for the election fraud, all the recent elections would have reflected that. But what do you see happening? I want to get this for everybody. What do you see happening when this accelerates later this year? Because everything the Democrats are trying is not working. Every way they're trying to spin it, and Trump keeps winning. And there are a bunch of things we're going to cover tonight that are going to be even bigger wins for the United States. That I think they get desperate, and I think things get bad. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what they're going to do is escalate the violence, and then what they're going to do is work with the press to say, you see all the violence that Trump attracts? And you got to remember, look at these protesters. They're all white. There aren't any black people in these protests. There aren't any people of color in these protests. They're all white people.
And mostly
that's
women.
why. That's one of the reasons why the demonstrations are not as big as they are, because the Goodites,
mostly white liberal women. Yeah, which are the worst.
The Goodites are white. If Good had been black, the demonstrations would have torn this country apart.
Yeah. Well, I guess in this case. Well, don't give them any ideas, Brooks, because that's where they're going to go next. We got to find a crazy black woman to go out there and get shot by ICE. And so, Steve, just to reiterate, as a police officer, you think they were totally justified in self-defense shooting her?
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, think about it. You got a 4,700-pound vehicle coming at you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been hit by a car. I have.
I've not. Yeah.
I've been hit by a car, when I say accidentally, directing traffic at an event where somebody's not paying attention and runs into me. Even if they hit the brake and it's not intentional, I mean, you are easily killed. I mean, when I got hit, it threw me about 10 feet. And had I not been in my 20s and in really good shape, I'd have really got screwed up. And had that car continued, because it hit me kind of from the side, but had that car actually intentionally wanted to hit me, I would have been dead, because he'd have not only knocked me down, he'd have ran me over. But fortunately for me, it was accidental. But in that case, I mean, he could have easily went under the front end of that car and been killed.
And
easily. I mean, you look at the angle. Look at the angle, and he could have easily been right up underneath that front wheel.
Yeah, and then you got Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran dedicating "Ordinary World" to this bitch on Saturday night in some concert. Oh, we've got to be better than this. Yeah, you know what? You know what, Simon? You and Nick are on the fucking Epstein list, so fuck you, buddy.
But I mean, what do you expect from these people? I mean, the way that they're screaming and crying, and people are shaving their heads, and this supposed Christian that Brooks knows. I mean, I have to question whether or not he's actually a Christian. Basically, with the things that he's standing behind.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, all of these people that you see are a very, very small percentage of the population.
Maybe 20%.
It's always the same rhetoric over and over and over again. Every time you see memes or every time you see somebody talking on social media or on the news, it's the same. It's like they're on a script. It's the same.
They are on a script.
They are on a script.
But I'm just saying, it's the same crap over and over and over again. And people are just like, who really, nobody cares. I mean, I have a buddy of mine I was in the Marine Corps with, and he's about as liberal as you can get, which is kind of odd, but he is. And even he agreed that the lady who was shot deserved it because of the way that she aimed her vehicle at the officer and hit the gas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had no problem with her getting shot, and yet, he'll side with other liberal, whatever.
Brain dead. All right. Blake, did she deserve to get shot, and do you think this escalates as the summer goes on? I think they're going to try to pull another George Floyd, probably in Minnesota. If Tim Walz doesn't survive politically, they'll pivot to another state that's more important. But I think this is going to end up being about the midterms and trying to save the midterms for the Democrats. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a lot to get into, and part of it is it's weird how they're trying to say she was trying to get out of his way. She wasn't trying to hit him. Like in that split second, like he's looking at the wheels, trying to see what direction are they coming at me, or is she trying to just get out of the way and I can jump out? It's like you're in that moment and you got to react. And apparently, he's also been the victim of another incident, dragged by a vehicle, so he's already got the PTSD. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, totally justified for what he did. And this is just a totally different party. This is the thing that disturbs me, is that they're completely irrational. They're lost souls. 20 years ago, if you had these incidents, they'd have something to say. They'd be upset about Bush and Cheney, the wars, the Patriot Act, something. But you go do the man on the street stuff now, they just get angry. They get in your face like that one guy, or they throw frozen water bottles at people. There's
and they don't even know why. You ask them, why are you doing this? And they don't even know why. Just Trump that, right? Yeah. By the way, everybody, you can rumble around in Super Chat. It helps keep this show going and justify me paying these guys of the extensive salaries I'm paying them. You got gift cards. You're gonna get. You know what? If Steve, if you don't have a better attitude next year, you're just gonna get an autographed Mike Bara book. Is what you're gonna get. All right. Which means I also get paid on the back end.
I'll have another.
Wait a minute. That means I also get paid on the back end, buddy, because I buy my own book, send it to you, sign it, send it to you, and then I get royalties out of that. So think about.
Wait a minute. It's like I had to buy books, send them to you to get them signed, to get them to somebody else.
I just didn't get around to it. I owe you those. Yeah, but you can rumble rant and super chat and help support the show, and we do appreciate it, and it keeps us going, and it gives me a reason to get up and do this show on Tuesday. All right. Speaking of people hating Trump and going crazy, well, Donald Trump went to Detroit today, where things are starting to grow, and we had a little funky incident, and it's funny. This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is based. Donald Trump is not an elitist, even if gold toilets or not. This is hilarious. This is hilarious. Donald Trump.
I can't hardly see it. What is exactly is going on?
All right, I absolutely love this guy. There's a time in American politics when flipping off a constituent or an American person would have gotten in a lot of trouble, Blake. I don't know. I found this absolutely hilarious. That's what everybody wants to do. Trump just does it. Wasn't that hilarious? I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I find it refreshing. He is hilarious, and he's in the moment. And I enjoy him. He's a real guy, and he's not a politician. So he's not the traditional type. So this is what that's why it makes him so popular with so many people.
Oh, apparently, the guy got fired. Sorry.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, it's interesting twist on that, but no, this is exactly why people wanted to elect him. We don't want the politicians and the BS.
When he showed up at McDonald's and then he would run around the garbage truck during the campaign. He didn't need to do these things, but he's just like, I'm not a politician. I'm gonna be a president. So
then he did the speech in the safety orange vest.
Yeah, safety. Yeah. All right. Well, there are other matters going on that are central to what's happening in the world that are absolutely extraordinary. In Iran tonight, protests do continue against the Islamic regime, which needs to be destroyed instantly. Here's what's going on tonight. This is 5 hours old. The streets of Tehran, Iran.
The sad part about this is that as of this afternoon, the body count is over 20,000. 20,000 have been killed.
So this scene is the central bank in Iran from Saturday night. So they're burning down the banks. They are
Mosques.
Burning down the banks. They're burning down the mosques. Trump says he supports the Shah. Coming back, Jimmy Carter is spinning in his grave because the Islamic terrorist state that he tried to create is collapsing. But we now have reports of over 12,000 people massacred by the government.
They're going to hang 500 in the morning. 500.
There are reports of the satellite's been knocked out. They use Chinese technology to try to knock out the Starlink. Starlink has developed a workaround to that. Trust me, Elon's probably ahead of your military over there, Xi. And they are trying to shut off the water to try to starve and kill the people. People are showing up anyway, very bravely. And Trump says he's going to help them. And the other thing is that there are reports now, the U.S. has been moving air assets from Diego Garcia and so forth into Iranian airspace. Last night, there was a tanker in Iranian airspace, which is completely shut out, refueling other aircraft. So Trump is threatening a military strike. The problem I have, Brooks, and I want to start with you, is that's not enough. You can make military strikes against military targets, but that doesn't get them all. It doesn't get all the rats. We've had police that did defect. Now we're not sure if they're still defecting. Are the police and the Iranian military going to flip over to the Shah or not? It looks like the Iranian government is now clamping down and setting up another massacre like they did a few months ago when these protests rang up. I don't think a military strike is going to make a difference. The only thing that's going to make a difference, and I don't understand, and explain it to me like I'm 5 years old, why are we not flying C-130s over the country in all the areas and dropping huge crates full of guns and ammo and just saying, here's your guns, go kill these guys? Because if we do that, in 6 months, this country will become Persia again. It will become a Christian nation. They will bulldoze every fucking mosque, and they will probably make Islam illegal, which it ought to be worldwide illegal. But why are we not doing that? I don't see how a few precision military strikes amongst all this chaos is going to bring down the mullahs. And I'm not saying send Americans in there. I'm saying let's arm the Iranian people. Let's arm the people of Persia and let them go kill these fuckers. Am I wrong?
Yeah, because I don't think we have enough drone operators to take care of all the IRGC. They are well trained at doing this, and that's why Trump said get their names and remember their names because there's going to be hell to pay. Well, that's after the fact. And by the way, I heard a report today. It wasn't 12,000. It was 20,000.
Yeah.
12,000 is what they admit to. The people are saying if they succeed in knocking out the internet altogether, they will slaughter us and the world will not be able to see it. So I don't think there's enough drone operators to do it. Now, during World War II, we created an aluminum 45. It was a single shot 45, and they had 5 rounds they sent with it and with a cartoon on how to use it. The idea was that the people would be armed with this gun that could kill a German soldier and take his weapon. And it was very effective during World War II. But the Iranian people are unarmed. All these people who see in the streets, they have nothing. They have green laser pointers and maybe a firework or two, maybe a Molotov cocktail. But they're throwing hand grenades into the crowd. Not flashbangs, not tear gas, hand grenades. They're blowing people up in the crowd, trying to disperse them. And there's too many people. There's just too many people. And what Trump needs to do, and he's already told them, keep protesting, stay in the streets, help is on the way. I don't know what that means, but I'll tell you, when you're pinned down in the field and it doesn't look like there's any way you can win, and an A-10 comes over the horizon and wipes those guys out, it's a great feeling.
Yeah,
so you never know what's going to happen.
I'm sure it is. Steve, do you think Trump is considering dropping American troops in there? Is that what's going on? Or I don't see, a week ago, I would have just started dropping crates full of rifles and machine guns and handguns and ammo just right into the streets and said,
Congress would never let you do it.
Fuck Congress.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? If I do that, by the time the Congress even knows about it, it's already done. Oh, yeah, we dropped 100,000 guns and ammo, millions of rounds of ammo into Iran today. You guys want to meet about that and have a committee investigation?
I mean, you can literally skip over Congress. He had a guy that was willing to pay the salaries of the American military during the government shutdown. So you're telling me that those guys can't buy guns and ammunition in bulk and use private contractors to bring the guns and ammunition in there and drop it off that has nothing, that you don't even use $1 United States dollar? Absolutely, they could do it. But again, there's always more at play, and you can say what you want, but there's always politics involved. I absolutely don't agree with it. But the United States is going to do a show of force. They're going to blow a bunch of people up. They're going to say you need to cease and desist, killing your own citizens, or, things are going to get worse for you. But I agree with you. You're 100% exactly right. They should arm the people who want to take back their country. But saying that, just so everybody knows the history of this, it was more than Jimmy Carter turning this country over to the terrorists. Like here we have the white liberal women. Back in the day, it was the educated females in the universities that were pushing to get the Ayatollah in power more so than the males.
Right.
So it's always, females and their emotional bullshit have always been the problem. Fortunately, now they're getting emotional and attacking the Islamic government.
But that's a good thing because they are leading the revolution in some ways.
They're leading the revolution this time, but they led the revolution to let the evil in the first time.
In the first place. Exactly right. There's pictures
now there's children who have been slaves since just about birth.
Yeah.
Are tired of being slaves. They're tired of being under this, the Islamic oppression. They're tired of being, whipped in the streets for, their burqa coming undone a little bit, whatever the case may be. They're tired of having, the little boys raped and the little girls, sexual organs mutilated. I mean, all the hideous and horrible things that happen under Islam.
Yeah.
So
and there are pictures. I saw some today of celebrating Khomeini being brought into power in 1979. These young, pretty women with their nice dresses on. Those women probably never wore those clothes again, and were probably murdered and abused at the hands of the Islamists.
It's the same. I mean, it's the same shit going on here in the United States. You have all these women that are going out and they're pro-Palestine and they're this and they're that. They don't have a freaking clue. They don't have a clue at how evil Islam is. And where are they at now? I mean, their sisters are being murdered in the street.
Yeah.
They're being tortured. They're being mutilated. Where are the protesters? Where are all these freaking fat pig lesbians that are protesting for Palestine? Where are you, you fat, ugly women? Why aren't you protesting for the women that are being murdered and raped and mutilated in Iran, sorry.
Iran.
By the way,
it's like
Kurds.
Where are you now? And that's what I mean. They're just idiots. They're total screaming idiots. And that's why they have no credibility. That's why most American people want nothing to do with their fat, ugly asses. And they're sick of them. They're sick of their, they have this, we're defending the right of the people. The Israelis are bad, blah, 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 blah. When something like this occurs, you don't hear a peep out of them. You don't hear one word. You don't see them putting on their little garb and going out and doing anything because they're fat, useless pieces of filth that only work for the opposition when it suits them to change things that they want changed. If it's something that is good, something that is righteous, they want nothing to do with it because they are evil pieces of filth and they deserve everything they get.
In the immortal word of Captain James T. Kirk, don't mince words, Bones. Tell me what you really think, Brooks.
Yeah. Well, the Kurds have taken over the IRGC headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bone to pick with the IRGC for sure. And I think we've armed them and are offering logistics to them. And it actually looks a little better if the Kurds do a lot of the dirty work than if our troops go in there and do it. But Steve is exactly right. I think all women are bi. We just have to decide whether that's sexual or polar.
Wow. This is a Toxically Masculine Tuesday show. Notice, ladies, that I am not the one saying these things. All right,
no,
Brooks.
Mike has the dating advice.
Yeah, the dating advice. Blake, all right. I got to say it. We're not doing enough to help these people. They're getting shot at, murdered. I don't care if the Kurds have taken over the IRGC headquarters. I don't care if the Israelis are giving them logistic support. It's time to act this hour, not in a day or two. It's time to act now. So my question for you, Blake, is I'd like to get your opinion. Yeah. Should we just start dropping guns in there, which I think we should have been doing a week ago?
I only have one quick comment. By the way, where's Greta Thunberg in all this?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, we did that in Iran-Contra. We dropped guns in to fight the Sandinistas.
So we know how to do it because in the end, the Sandinistas lost. All right, Brooks or Blake, should we get involved in there? Should we start dropping arms at the very least, or should we send the troops in, or neither one of those things?
Well, I wouldn't be in favor of putting our boots on the ground, but if we can fund a proxy war and use the Kurds to do it, yeah, I think if we surround them, I don't know who else wants to get in on this action, but take down the current leadership of Iran and then divide the country up. That would be beneficial for everybody. They've lost me with this. 12,000 now 20,000 casualties. That is awful. That's just unconscionable. They have no moral authority to be in power anymore, so they have to be removed. Arming them sounds a little dicey, just because I don't know if these people even would know how to use this stuff. Maybe if you give them small arms fire, or like they did back in the day with the French resistance, the very simple handguns, something like that, small arms fire. Maybe that could work in a situation, but the whole world.
If the Israeli logistical support is not on the ground to show the people how to use the guns, what the fuck are they there for, Benji? Okay. Get the fuck out if you're not going to do that, right? Sorry.
No,
I'm on high dose steroids. That's the only thing I will say. Steve, I don't know what the fuck Steve is on, but anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Blake.
No, that pretty much wraps up my point. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that, because this is completely unfair, and this is why the Second Amendment is another historical lesson for everybody that likes to, criticize the Second Amendment for situations like this. And our forefathers knew that this would happen. So never give up your guns to a government that can go tyrannical even at any time. So this is another lesson, and hopefully the people will get out of this situation, because that's very brave to get out there when you can't fight back and you are badly outgunned. So
yeah, what's the meme of Geronimo sitting there with this rifle, and it says, "When the government tells you don't need a gun, you need a gun." I just have had enough. I want the people of Persia to be free. I want it to be a Christian nation in the Middle East. I want them to make peace with their Hebrew brothers and end all this nonsense, and put pressure on the Bedouins to make peace also, and stop all this nonsense and put an end to it. And Iran is the heart and soul of it. And if Donald Trump can succeed in taking out or co-opting Venezuela, the heart of communism and corruption and a worldwide election stealing, and Iran, Persia, freeing Persia in 10 days, Nobel Peace Prize. We ought to make the guy the fucking king of the planet until he wants to give up the seat, because he has done an amazing thing. But we have to wait and see what's going to happen, because we've been close before. We have not finished the job in Iran. And this time around, I think we got to finish the job. Mike just wants to date the Persian woman. There's a few I like. There's a few I like. My chiropractor, but she's off doing something else. All right. There are other issues on the table. Bill Clinton was issued a congressional subpoena to testify about the Epstein files. So do not think that Epstein has been completely dropped. I believe priorities have switched to higher priorities. And by the way, when Trump flipped that guy off, he was harassing him about the Epstein files, which is a background issue. These issues that are being taken care of now, Venezuela, Mexico, Cuba, and Iran, these are not, it was always planned that these were going to be part of this operation. These are not being used to distract from the Epstein files. It's going to be part of the Epstein files, revelations that are going to happen. But we're in a situation now where we have Bill Clinton refusing a congressional subpoena. Well, there's a few conservatives in the last 5 years who also ignored congressional subpoenas. Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, Santos, they all went to jail. They went to prison. Why is Bill Clinton fucking walking around, Bill and Hillary Clinton, why are they walking around free?
Because they're not going to do anything to them. They know it. They know that they're 100% protected. They're not going to do anything to Bill and Hillary. I mean, give me a break. If they were going to do it, they'd already done it. Bondi isn't going to do crap. And so, what do they have to fear? Nothing. I mean, it's ridiculous to even think that this administration's Justice Department is going to give the people of the United States justice when it comes to the Epstein files, the thefts that occurred of the American people's money, even though Trump stood up and said, There's going to, some elected officials need to be concerned. People need to, be concerned that justice is coming. Okay. Where is it? It's like, you have to be pretty bold to, like Clinton. He just knows that he's untouchable. So, why submit?
It was pointed out, Blake, that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton could have showed up today and simply claimed privilege, executive privilege. You can't ask me that. They didn't do that. They chose to ignore the subpoena. Are they not? Well, I guess Brooks is let me go to Brooks first. Are they not simply saying what Steve says is correct? You can't touch us. Fuck you.
Exactly right. What they're saying is we're not going to dignify you by responding to your subpoena. We're not going to let you put us on camera. It's just not going to happen. And there's nothing you can do to make us do it. And if you put us in jail, you'll just be turning us into martyrs.
All right. Blake, what are your thoughts on the Clintons, and should they be arrested the way people like Roger Stone and Steve Bannon?
Man, they are a pretty high level. They deserve to. I mean, that seems only fair. And I know Comer is going to begin contempt proceedings, but I guess I would have to agree with Steve that it's probably not going to happen. Although it should, or maybe at least should apply to Hillary because she was never president. She wouldn't be able to take any sort of executive privilege. You'd be doing Bill a favor if you locked her up and he was still free. But
it only takes 2 Republicans to say no.
Yeah, it's worrisome that they just have so much dirt on everybody. So it's like once they actually get in the crosshairs.
If those Republicans, though, are all on the list of Venezuelan people taking money from Venezuela that Donald Trump should theoretically have, thanks to Maduro. And I've been told privately by a guy who might know that, Maduro cut a deal and he's helping them out with all these prosecutions, then maybe they're not going to vote the way we think they're going to vote. That's another thing that could happen. All right. So just what do you think? You guys all think that nothing further is going to happen to the Clintons about this. Is that correct, Brooks?
Yeah, I think Comer's going to meet his match. He's going to go to the floor and try to get Congress to make a motion to hold him in contempt of Congress. And I think there will be enough Republicans there to say, this has gone just about far enough. We need to leave those people alone.
Amazing how they didn't go far enough when they were going after Republicans who supplied.
Yeah,
Steve,
they arrested Navarro as he was getting on an airplane. They wanted to make it as public as possible.
Yeah. Steve, I know what you think. Brooks or Blake, what do you think? You think the Clintons get indicted on this at all for any reason? Littering, anything?
I think eventually, I'm going to try to be optimistic. They will, but not necessarily for this thing, not this investigation with Comer. If some other things break and there's some more, we can unravel some fraud and people start turning on the Democrat Party, then they might have more demand for it. But until there's...
Well, I mean, look at we already have the fraud. I mean, their daughter spent $81 million of taxpayer money on her.
82,
wedding.
Oh, yeah.
11 million on her wedding.
I mean, that's fraud right there. What has been done?
I'm thinking like Minnesota and then to California, Illinois, Ohio. If the dam ever breaks and the country starts to really turn on the Democrats, then there's going to be hope. But right now, it's not quite that. We're not at that tipping point yet.
Yeah. So I think they will be prosecuted at some point, and not very far, not too much longer. All right. So I'm going to say by April that the Clintons are charged in this. Right. I do think that somehow that happens. Pam Bondi, by the way, if I understand it correctly, she doesn't need Congress to declare them in contempt of Congress.
That's right.
She can accuse them of it without Congress actually declaring it.
Really,
yeah,
Bondi?
But she won't.
Just pay.
I think she has 10 days left, and she's gone.
Yeah. All right. Another thing that happened today was conservative influencer and cartoonist Scott Adams passed away today of prostate cancer. And his very last statement that he made, which was written on the 1st of the year, he said, "If you're reading this, it means I'm already gone." It's like the Captain Kirk message in Star Trek to Bones and Spock. It means I'm dead. I'm not here anymore. I've accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as my savior, which good for you, Scott. And I'm probably in heaven with him now, and don't feel bad for me. I tried everything and so forth. So a lot of people feel very bad about this. I have mixed feelings about this. And he's just passed away last night or today. You're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, and I'm going to try to not do it in this context. But I believe Scott Adams' life could have been saved. But he refused, and Brooks, this is going to be personal for you. A Canadian doctor, Dr. William Mackis, tried to help this guy. He's got a clinic, and he's had a lot of success treating people with worse cancers than Scott had. Steve, this is probably personal for you too. You've had issues with this disease. That he tried to get him to take ivermectin and fenben, or ivermectin and menben. There are, I believe, 6 different protocols Dr. Mackis has created and uses in his clinic, where you have a certain dose of ivermectin and a high dose of fenben, or a low dose of fenben, and then a high dose of menben and a low dose of menben, or all 3 of them together in different combinations. And a year and a half ago, Adams tried it supposedly for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. It's a 3-month protocol. His PSA numbers, which is the indicator for prostate cancer, went up, and he quit, and he called Mackis a liar and a grifter and attacked him personally. And the truth is, first of all, Scott, everybody told you not to take the vaccine. He did. That's what gave him the cancer. There's no doubt in my mind. And this is a guy, it feels like his own arrogance is the reason why he's not with us anymore. And he had a whip smart mind. And Dr. Mackis has said, "I told you what you were on wasn't going to work." They tried Pluvicto. Dr. Mackis, I'm not going to make Dr. Mackis out to be a hero, but he got his license taken away in Canada because he was using ivermectin and fenben and ivermectin and menben to treat seriously ill cancer patients and to treat people that had other diseases like COVID. So they attacked him. Big Pharma went after him. The government of Alberta took his license away, and they're always like, "Well, he's not a doctor." Well, he was a doctor. He was a board-certified doctor in Canada. So you have this absolute unnecessary tragedy. And as Mackis explained it, look, what happens in the protocol is you start using it, and then your body starts to shed the cancer cells. So they show up in the PSA, and it goes up right after you start it. And then over the course of 3 months, it goes down and down and down. And I don't understand this. I'm trying to understand this from a personal, spiritual perspective, because this guy is an example to others. And he's, I think, damaged the cause of alternative medicines by refusing to give this treatment protocol a chance.
Well, first of all, I mean,
and I think that's important.
I know,
in his death, we should talk about that. Go ahead, Steve.
You don't understand. I mean, first of all, cancer is a debilitating disease, and it wears on you and it wears you out. And I don't know the guy personally, but the reason that people die of cancer mainly is because they just give up. They take these horrendous treatments that make them even sicker than they were with the cancer. And they just get to the point where they're done. They just want to check out. They want it all to be over with. When you have cancer, when you have, and I'll just say this to the audience, when you have the kind of pain that I experienced with my cancer, where they were injecting me and giving me, large doses of morphine, and it didn't touch it. I had to mentally challenge myself to keep going and get to the point where I started treating it, and the only thing that really worked were, holistic type things.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it would have been very easy for me to say, hey, just, shoot me up, put me in hospice. I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of fighting this. I mean, you have no idea until you experience it how debilitating and how exhausting on a day. I mean, even now, I still have back pain, and every day I get up, I'm grateful, that the Lord gives me another day, one more day, and gives me the will to fight and keep fighting. But I mean, it gets old, man, and you're just like in a situation where if you're not mentally tuned up to deal with it, it's easier just to give up and die. And I see why a lot of people, and I've dealt with a lot of people at the cancer hospitals. I've talked to a lot of people at the cancer hospitals, and, and that's exactly what happens. They just are so tired. They're so worn out. I just want to check out. I just don't want to deal with this anymore. And depending on what kind of cancer you have, depending on your pain levels, that kind of thing, depends on what the person decides to do. And like I said, in going through it, I used to say, oh, you're a wuss. Why would you give up? You need to fight, whatever the case may be. And after dealing with it myself, let me tell you something. I understand a whole lot better of why people do what they do. I don't agree with it. I'm not ever going to give up. Yeah. But the reality is that, I understand it. I can be compassionate toward those people because it's just something that, like I said, it just wears on you day to day to day to day, and it never ends. You never get any peace. You never get any rest. Now, fortunately for me, like I said, my faith has kept me going. A whole lot of prayer sitting there biting my lip, asking God, please take this pain away so I can at least deal with what I need to deal with and move on. And I've, obviously, as I've improved 1,000%, but I'm still not 100%. And, and it does get old. You get up, you go to do something, and there's things you can't do, but you just have to, count your blessings and move on. But a lot of people, can't do that.
I thought about whether I'd talk about this or not tonight, but I really feel like this guy should still be with us. And if he'd listened to people who were trying to help him, and the drugs that Dr. Makis, and he's not a hero. He is kind of a hero, but the government, if they had a choice, would crush,
sure,
like they tried to crush Dr. Makis, anybody who's trying alternative medicines that might cure this disease. And Brooks, I know you try to help people too. So I'd like to get your opinion. You don't have to agree with me that his own arrogance killed him, but that, it's not going to be a popular stance, but I'm going to take it. So,
well, I know, I don't want to talk about the jab too much, but, I've now seen the statistic in two different places, an insurance actuary and a person who does autopsies. They both said that 30% of Generation Z, they're already dead. Can you believe that? They're younger than we are. 30% already dead, and it's from the jab. And I can't say any more about it because we're on YouTube, but that's what got Scott. He had this ordinary cancer that a lot of people fight. It does take him out, but it takes a long time. But the jab changes the equation, and it makes these things accelerate. And I'm not speaking as an ignorant. I have 55,000 customers that have purchased ivermectin and fenbendazole from me, and hydroxychloroquine. And the ivermectin and fenben people that are treating cancer, it's in the many, many thousands. And I get so much mail from them. Hey, my dad's doing better. My grandfather's doing better. My rash went away. My tumor went away. It's blowing my mind, absolutely blowing my mind how successful this is. And that's why I'm dedicated to saving lives. I'm dedicated to getting this stuff out there wholesale without a prescription so people can live.
Yep. And by the way, I like to get my hands on a Fenben Menben cleanse as well. I have a friend Matt from the CBD Gurus, sponsors my shows with Jen. He's been on it, and he said, "My God, I've been on this for like 2 months, and it's been, I think it's Menben and ivermectin." And he said ivermectin is great, but you combine it with Fenben, it's even better. You combine it with Menben, it's even better. And he said all of his health, everything is 1,000% better. And the pharmaceutical companies who invented these drugs unfortunately discovered they cure a whole lot of diseases, and now they're trying to destroy them. And that is,
Well, you can't find them anywhere. You used to be able to buy it on Amazon. You can't find fenbendazole anywhere, but you can find it on my website. So check it out.
I need to get some. Need to get some, and of course, there's different protocols for it too, and stuff. And how much do you take? And you got to figure that all out. Blake, I don't know if you want to comment on this at all. I don't blame you if you don't agree with me, but I'm just sitting there. I remember thinking months ago, this guy's going to kill himself because he won't let this doctor help him because he wants to be smarter. And I just don't understand that. Isn't life too precious? Steve says that he got worn down, but God, 3 or 6 months on this stuff, supposedly everybody gets better, it seems like. I don't know. Brooks, Blake, sorry, I don't know.
I mean, it's a tough call. He's a good man. It's sad that he did check out early, but he did some tremendous work over the last several years, and I greatly appreciate what his contributions, especially in the alternative media as a cartoonist.
Yeah,
I can't speak on that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Made me laugh many times. Yeah.
Oh yeah, talented guy. He still got books out there. He did kind of promote them on his last message, which is great. I don't know his situation. I know he tried a lot of different things, but if you guys are correct that it was basically the jab, then maybe it was already too late. It was a losing battle from there. I don't know the situation. It was kind of interesting to see because so many people had suggestions for him, and to see him try to beat it with these alternative methods. And it's a shame that didn't work out, or he didn't give it enough time, but it might not have mattered if the jab was already in his system. So it's just bad all around.
It's just a shame. And my big concern, Brooks, is that I hope it doesn't become an example, because I think that people need access to these therapies. And Trump is claiming.
I mean, the reality is most people will try anything that they possibly can at first. And, and then, like I told you, I mean, people get worn out, and, you have to be compassionate to that people just get to the point where I'll be honest with you, none of those things worked for me. None of them. I tried it for a year. I had a guy set me up with a protocol. It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Right. I have some other stuff that's working for me, but it didn't work for me. So it doesn't work for absolutely everybody.
No, I understand that. And I do believe you. But I also, when you were doing it, they did not have the level of success they've had with new clinics like Dr. Mackus, who are trying, like I said, there's 6 or 8 combinations. So what he said when at the time Scott Adams started attacking him was, I have a base protocol. Sometimes that doesn't work. If it doesn't, I have a second protocol. Different levels of the 2 different drugs mixing, and a third and a fourth and a fifth and a sixth. And he said we had at least 5 more that we could have tried with Scott. He said, assuming that it didn't work. So I'm just saying, I would like to get you, I would like to get you on this program, and we try all of them to get your body completely cleansed of this. But you're a man. You're going to do what you want, and but I would like you to try all of them.
Me?
It didn't work. Yeah, you're a man.
Well, I mean, all right. First of all,
yeah, I'd like to get you on all of them.
And again,
at the cancer level.
Okay, so let's say I go to this doctor. See, there again, you have to have the financial means to be able to do it, because these guys are not cheap. They don't, the stuff that they supply. I mean, you got to have.
Well, maybe you know what
to go through.
Yeah, maybe if you'd accept a little help from your friends who give a shit about you, like me, maybe you wouldn't have to worry about the money.
Well, when the dinar come in, go ahead. If you can get me the money, I'll happily do it.
All right, that's the deal then. It's a deal. Shake hands on that.
No, I mean, the thing is, there again, you got financial situations. Even though Brooks sells his stuff at wholesale prices, a lot of people, they can't afford it. It's still expensive.
Right, and I know. And then we also have to know like what's the and again, these are high doses. Like I think ivermectin's like I don't know, I've seen like 18 milligrams a day. Like when I take it for a cold or a flu, I'm taking it's more than that. It's like in the hundreds of milligrams. Right. Yeah. And as part of these cancer protocols, it's much higher doses. And for 100 pills, 12 milligram pills at $80, that's one thing. But we're quickly going to get into $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. And you're right. There's people who can't afford that.
I mean, I can't afford it. I can't afford $2,000 a month.
But Steve, this is why this is an important point to me and why it's on the show tonight, because we have to force the insurance companies to cover this stuff for these treatments. And that's the fight that I think Makis is fighting. And I want to support him in, because that's what we have to do is we have to say, look, these are effective treatments or potentially effective, and we need to have this covered so people like you don't have to choose whether I can afford to even try this or not. That's what I'm saying. The insurance companies will cover Pluvecto, which doesn't work. They'll cover all this other shit that doesn't work, all this chemo that destroys your body, but they won't cover a few pills. That's a problem for me, and something I hope Trump gets fixed.
I think it's a problem for all of us. But the reality is that there's also practicality, and and so again, I mean, a lot of people would like to try certain things. They'd like to do certain things, but they just financially can't afford it.
Yeah. Grok is incorrect. He did not try it for over a year, and he only tried one combination. And as these guys, these therapeutic researchers have said, there's at least 6 different combinations you can try. He only tried one. Maybe it didn't work for him, but I bet you combination 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 had a good chance of working for him. So, all right, I want to move on. We have another issue or two. This show's gone long, but there's so much to talk about, so much going on in the world. And just rest in peace to Scott. And I didn't mean to call you out, but I want to give people the truth. That's what this show's all about. Greenland. Donald Trump took more steps towards Greenland today. I believe Marco Rubio was supposed to have gone to Denmark and meet with the Denmarkians. What do you call them? The Danes.
Danes.
At some point. I do not know if that took place. So many other things are going on. But the purpose of acquiring Greenland and Canada, at least most of Canada, is exactly this map you're looking here. If you look at Soviet and don't exclude the Chinese ICBMs, the Arctic is critical for the defense of the United States. This is why Trump has been boisterous in saying, I'm taking this. Brooks, where can they find your therapeutics?
Just go to brooksagnew.com. The button's right there on the front. You don't even have to use the menu. Just use the blue button that says Ivan and fenbendazole with no prescription. Hit that button and you can have it on its way in 5 minutes. And by the way, we are now shipping from the US. So it's a 7-day process. You order on a Monday, you'll get it on the following Monday.
Wow. Okay. I got to go in and buy some of that. So the situation in Greenland is Trump does not want Greenland for any hidden oil reserves. He does not want Greenland for rare earths. He wants Greenland to set up more military bases so that we can do 2 things. Number 1, create the Golden Dome defense system over the United States, because we can have missile defense from Alaska to the tip of Greenland, and no ballistic missile, no hypersonic, nothing is going to get through that from China or Russia or any of our other alleged enemies. I think it's a whole big issue whether they really are enemies, but they may become enemies in the future again. If you look at this is why he is insisting we're going to acquire this, and he is moving aggressively to do it. In response, the Europeans, including the French foreign minister came out and said, if Trump takes Greenland or tries to take Greenland, you're going to lose all your bases in Europe. Do you know why, by the way, Steve Doran, do you know why there are so many trees in the city of Paris?
Why?
Why are there so many trees in Paris?
I have no idea.
Because the Germans like to march in the shade.
Trump, I mean, our bases in Europe are not for our benefit. They're for
We
the
don't want
Europeans.
them. Trump doesn't want them. Trump has dropped out of 66 different UN organizations in the last week. It's like he has played these dumb fuckers to basically demanding what he wants. Oh, you want us out of Europe? Okay. We're going to save that $50 billion a year. We're going to invest it in our own Golden Dome defense of the United States, Denmark. Canada's going to be part of the U.S. now, and we're going to be impenetrable. That's what's going on.
All of our foreign bases do nothing for us. I mean, they're an early warning system. They allow us to react a little bit earlier. But the reality is it's to protect the country that we happen to be in.
And
so if we were to pull out of there, not only would they lose our defense, but the money that we spend in those countries.
Bingo! And
I remember Reagan making that statement when the French said, "We'd like you to remove all your troops from our country." He said, "Okay, great. We'll be digging up all those graves over there too."
Yeah. I remember that very distinctly. But the point being, then we can leave the Euro trash to their own devices. Hey, you guys, you want to negotiate some deals with Vlad? You go right ahead, but we're not going to be involved in it. We're kicking back here behind our Golden Dome. You guys have a blast. So Trump, I believe that we are on the brink of a strategic geopolitical switch that hasn't happened since at least 1989, maybe even more dramatic than World War II. I think all the alignments are about to take place and happen and completely going to change everything about the way we think of the world, who our friends are, who our enemies are. We're going to leave the Europeans to their own devices, have fun negotiating with Vlad. And I got to tell you one other piece that I found out this week. I have a friend, I shall not name him, and he explained to me very carefully that he has been spending a lot of time in Alberta recently and Miami. Brooks, what's in Miami that might be of any interest industrially, politically, financially? Miami is a huge financial hub.
Absolutely.
And so I'm telling you what's happening right now. We're going to negotiate or take Denmark or take Canada if we have to, or Greenland if we have to.
Alberta or Greenland.
We're going to buy the parts of Canada that we need to set up this defense. And I think that's what's going on. And Brooks, am I wrong? Or do you see the same picture emerging that I do?
It's on the ballot in Alberta, and it looks like it's going to pass. They want to secede from Canada. Trump is going to say, by the way, we want the northern territories as well. These are the ones that border the Northwest Passage. And he said, we're going to do it the easy way or we can do it the hard way, but we are going to have Greenland. Now, supposedly the prime minister of Greenland said if it's a choice between Denmark and the United States, we choose the Europeans. His vote means nothing. 90% of Greenlanders want this deal. They want out of the Danish overlords who are sucking all the revenue out of Greenland and giving them nothing. No defense, no technology. Greenland doesn't even have any roads. If you want to get around in Greenland, you need a boat or a plane. I promise you that'll change if President Trump makes a deal with the Greenlanders.
Yeah. Blake, any thoughts? Any thoughts, Blake? I just ruined my own ending. Any thoughts on this? If the people of Greenland vote to leave Denmark and be a territory of the U.S., shouldn't we defend that and go in there and take care of them and protect them from the Europeans if we have to?
I suppose. I mean, what I'm seeing is that the Greenlanders they want independence from Denmark. They want to be part of the United States. Now that this is an issue, yeah, I think it's a win-win for them. I think we should be able to make a deal. Yeah, Denmark's a pretty small country. They're way off to the side there. I don't know how they manage that or why they control it, because I guess nobody cared about it. But as the technology has increased and we can get in there, minerals and the defense,
And the Arctic is going to
about-
be it's about controlling shipping lanes.
Yeah.
Basically, it looks to me like what Trump is saying is the Western Hemisphere we are going to control, whether you like it or
The
not.
Don Roe doctrine. The Don Roe doctrine.
And if you think Russia or China that you're going to ship drugs or weapons or nuclear weapons through the Arctic to South America, to Cuba or whatever, to cause trouble in our backyard, it's not going to happen. And we're going to set up a perimeter defense, and we're not going to let any of that stuff through. That's what I think is happening.
Yeah. Very
Steve,
strategic move. I like it.
Steve, any big strategic geopolitical comments before we?
I mean, not really. The reality is that all of these countries want the U.S. to come in. They love the way we do business. They love the freedoms that we enjoy in the United States, and they want those in their country. And they're tired of the, European colonial type rule that they're under now. So, the reality of the whole situation is that if they want us there, then there's no reason for us not to go and be there.
Exactly.
I mean,
all right, guys.
Real quick, but Canada, they've already started the process. They want to remove all the guns from the people in Canada. All
of course they do.
Everything, just like Australia. So that's why these other provinces, that's why they want to bail, because they don't want to give up their guns.
Mm-hmm. And Australia, New Zealand, after we get done with Greenland and Canada, you're next. All right, guys, thank you for being here. Great show. Again, totally awesome stuff. There was a lot of controversial stuff tonight, but we are toxic. We are masculine. We are men.
We're controversial? Give me
no, not us. Not us. All I can say to everybody is if I or anyone else on this show, offended you, I don't care.
Right.